time is it? Why they had this new obsession with these dolls. When you look at what a doll is, a dolly, right? Understand Barbie doll and how sex dolls, sex toys, Barbie dolls, the Barbary Coast, and how the woman was used, right, to place stationary in bondage, to be used as a sex toy for pleasure by invading people into this region. As you see, they even have her breast out here, and this is Queen Khalifa. This is the Queen Deborah, the Queen Bee, the spoken word. When you understand the oracles in Amoraka in this location and the hearing Shema, right? Understand Deborah to speak and Amar to proclaim in America. So the gold rush, right, in 1850, understand the developments that have taken place in California since these people greeted with Thanksgiving Sir Francis Drake. Understanding Yelamu people were forced and baptized, all right, but understand they greeted, right, even crowned Sir Francis Drake. And understand San Quentin and the California school, the prison pipeline. Okay, so in this book here, America's Description, you see here the Yelamu, the Western people of California, right, dealing with Sir Francis Drake. Understand capital punishment of California and San Quentin, what he did. Here you have the Western people called the Yelamu. You understand the judges and the Queen Khalifa here. All right, understand the crowning of what's taking place here of Sir Francis Drake, right, as he comes into the... So we look at California in the dawning light. Understand the Westerner. California was called here in San Francisco Yelamu, the Western people. So you understand the diva and the divine light, the dawning, and the tribe of Dan and the...
Jungle Dude started what I started. Anybody want a problem? This is my shit. Tell them if they want a problem. I'm from High Bridge. Got a nigga with a shotgun up in my way. Making... I'm smoking bomb ass weed, feeling crucial. I'm playing the play of the game, like a famous neutral. I'm hustling breaks to paying motherfuckers to pay. I got time with these bitches. Take you up by the place. I'm on the field. You want to be so go. Got me click so that pussy ain't stuck. I'm a ride those for the whole time.
We have to remember and be aware of the fact that there's two Egypts. So we look at Merit, Amen, Nefertari. You have to understand America. So the Americas is the ancient capital of Egypt. Ancient capital. We're talking about before Nimrod and before the biblical flood. Ancient. Understand Maor, understand Mary and the Merry Christmas and the lights that you see on the candles, the golden light. Understand the golden state, the golden light. It says they were weeping for Tammuz. Understand Tammuz, Mut, death in Hebrew. When you understand Mut and Ma and how paradise, right, used to be Eden, but it became death. Understand Mut. So understand the Western Wall faces the east, right, where the sun sets, where you would see and weep for the sun setting, right? So understand the West Coast and these men, right, with their face worshiping toward. You understand that the West Coast, the Golden Gate, the Golden State, the dawn, where you see the dawn, understand the tribe of Dan and the submerged continent, the submerged waters, the land of the Vulcans, the volcanoes. So you look at Tammuz, Tameri, Tamut. Understand the two kingdoms and understand Mu. So the gold rush, right, in 1850, understand the developments that have taken place in California since these people greeted with Thanksgiving Sir Francis Drake. Understanding Yelamu people were forced and baptized, alright, but understand they greeted, right, even crowned Sir Francis Drake. And understand San Quentin and the California school, the prison pipeline. Okay, so in this book here, America's Description, you see here the Yelamu, the western people of California, alright, dealing with Sir Francis Drake. Understand capital punishment in California and San Quentin, what he did. Here you have the western people called the Yelamu. You understand the judges and the Queen Khalifa here. Alright, understand the crowning of what's taking place here of Sir Francis Drake. Right, as he comes into the... We gotta understand the genocide also that takes place during this time, around the 17th and 18th century, where you have the complete genocide at the time when these colonizers now have the ability to travel along the Pacific, learning the crossing to come into the Sedona Plate. Now, the significance of the Sedona Plate is that when this subduction zone took place, this great flood, it left these islands, so these isolated locations. So these sea travels from prehistoric times. We're talking about prehistoric. We're talking about in the beginnings when Cain left, right, and traveled to the wilderness. This traveling in this time of the wilderness, when we look at Lent and Amanit and Western Hemisphere and the land of the hidden, the land of the north, and this hidden land, this land that was associated with darkness, being in this region from 0 to 144 degrees west, being now at the 120 degrees west. I can see the sun at the... So when we look at this ancient capital of ancient Egypt and the city of Nekim, when we understand the night and the darkness and the hidden land and Nekim and the red mound and Hamera and the place across. When we look at Gemini and Hemi, Demi, and Shimi, whether it's Shamera, Shamaron, or Hamera, we understand the hemisphere and the summer solstice and that 0 degrees and the door to the western hemisphere of the west. I'm in it.
One of the Great Pyramids. This pyramid was made like a stairway with tiers or steps. Ain't none of that in Africa. Right here in America.
Trespass the Taurus, right? The bull, they had to provide an offering. Understand the bull's ring and the bullion, the coin, and the Bitcoin of the Twistan offering. Understand Africa. Africa is the offering of Taurus, the bull, the heifer, the red heifer. This is why you see the Quorkoi and the Sticklepedia and this genetic trait that you find in the... Understand the offering is the heifer and the bull ring, the coin, the bullion, right, and the scepter. So Saturday, the vision, the seeing of Saturday's turn to die. Understand trespass, Taurus, trespass is the crossing, right, without the proper documentation, without being from and proclaiming who you are. So understand